Hi, yes, my name is Geoffrey Mock. Live in Durham, North Carolina, and I am a volunteer with Amnesty International, USA. I work on Egypt and on Syria cases. And So let me quickly, because Amnesty does have an action plan, and we have put it in on this case. If you have any questions about how Amnesty sees this case, I'd be glad to answer them. But essentially, we're echoing the same things Muhammad said. We see this case as totally phony. We put it within a larger context of unfair trials, and the growing use of the death penalty. In Egypt, we have come out with reports both on unfair trials, both on the misuse of the public prosecutor's office and courts of cassations, which are being used in this case. For the one thing he didn't mention is where it stands right now, and as Mohammed said earlier, executions can be put into place almost at any time. They do not announce it in the public. This regime is a thuggish regime that likes to play games. So the rumor, he said, we can't confirm anything, but that certainly makes sense that they would start doing, maybe an execution here or there just to test the waters. That is totally within the normal realms of behavior by the regime. So here's what Amnesty is doing. We are not focusing on Biden, and we can go into those details. We are focusing on the U.S. State Department and on Congress as a manner of getting the State Department to reach out. The reason for this, I'll just briefly say, is that we believe the State Department has more actual influence on the policy of the U.S. government towards Egypt right now than Biden. Egypt is just not a priority for the White House because they're worried about China, they're worried about the border, they're worried about Russia, they're worried about the European countries, they're worried about Israel and Iran, and Egypt probably is number 20th on this list. So that's why we're focusing on the State Department. And this is not just AIUSA. This is Amnesty sections across the world. We are engaging with our contacts at the State Department to ask them to directly engage with the presidents of Egypt and with their colleagues in Egypt, that they commute the death sentences. Actually, I didn't finish my thought, because where it does stand right now is that the Minister of Justice in Egypt is raising the death sentences with President Sisi. President Sisi has the power to commute or pardon those death sentences within 14 days, or the verdicts become final. Now, he hasn't done that before, but we are going to pressure him to do that in this case. We have heard already that this case is on the radar. The phrase I was told is the State Department is on top of this case. I can't confirm this, but normally that means they have reached out to the State Department, the Egyptian Foreign Affairs Office, and asked them to act on this case, or so that is the first step. The second step is that we want the U.S. Embassy in Cairo not to directly contact the Egyptian officials, but to make a public statement urging Egypt to commute the death sentences. So that is a further call that we are talking about with the State Department. Now, Congress. I know some of you have talked to Congress, and we want them to ask for a public statement to commute the verdict. I think that we should go before the Lantos Commission on Human Rights. I have one concern about that, and that is the Republican chair of the Lantos Commission on Human Rights hates the Muslim Brotherhood with a passion. So he might be able to stop something, but Representative Omar, yes, she's on the commission, the Human Rights Commission. So there's a number of people who would ordinarily be watching this case, and we should be reaching out to them to get to make public statements. We are also asking for the UN to make public statements, the High Commissioner for Human Rights. So Amnesty has reached out to them. I'm not sure that's something that you can, you certainly can do that. And I would recommend that you do that. That's a little bit an unusual step for citizens, but there's nothing stopping you from contacting the the High Commissioner for Human Rights and calling for the verdicts to be commuted. Second of all, here's the thing that's happening that Egypt is about to do. On June 19th, they are going to launch a very, very public campaign, not just in Egypt, but also in the United States, announcing its new national human rights strategy. Now, obviously, this is a PR campaign. But it also means that this gives us an option to use this case and use other cases to try to show that this PR campaign is filled with nothing. And as a matter of fact, it is the opposite of a human rights strategy. Now, Amnesty doesn't normally do this, but I know that some people from Marcy and some others from Code Pink are is here, and they have in the past reached out, find out what Washington D.C. PR firms are helping the Egyptians, and we need to contact them. We need to make sure that they are. That the world is aware that they are spreading lies and killing people through these lies and profiting heavily from it, trying to shame them. It is possible to shame public relations firms, if you can believe it. So maybe someone from Code Pink might talk about that. But this campaign is about to start on Juneteenth, of all days. The Egyptian embassy actually posted a video announcing on Twitter today, announcing its human rights strategy, and someone must have pushed back because they took it down immediately. So there's that. Those are the main things. I can talk more, but I've taken up 5 minutes. So I'd be happy to ask any other questions. But those are the main things: is talk to your congressman, talk to write the State Department, write the U.S. Embassy, and I didn't mention, write the Egyptian Embassy too. Shame them too. Those are people there that we know some of them are embarrassed by this, and we need to increase that embarrassment. So I'd be happy to ask any questions, or Mohammed, do you want to go to other speakers now?
Someone yesterday, can you hear me, Jeff, very well?
Yeah, your voice is breaking up.
Okay, but can you hear me, Jeff, or not?
Yeah, I can barely hear you.